Hello and good evening. In this clip, I would just like to talk about some of the themes and challenges of Year 10. It should be relatively short. There's a lot that I could say, but much of it I've said in the Parents Information Evening, which was at the beginning of this year. For pupils, certainly, I say a lot of the things that are important in year assemblies when I speak to you each week. But it's worth thinking of a few things. Now that we're a term in, and we can take stock, if you like, of what GCSE courses feel like, what Year 10 feels like. There's been a lot of new ways of working. There have been new sets in option subjects, been new subjects for quite a few people. You're studying things that you've never studied before, and new standards that have to be met. GCSE is harder than the work that you've done before because this is a national qualification. Pupils at all points should, because they're responsible students, because they're conscientious students and they want to do well, they should make sure they know what is required of them. Subject teachers will be able to explain this to them. It's going to be different for each subject. It's very, very specific. But the exam specifications are available on all the exam board websites. And as I said, subject teachers will be able to explain these in a way that the pupils will be able to understand. In terms of GCSE success and what it takes, I think there are three things. I think it sort of comes down to secure knowledge, an understanding of context, and an ability to apply what you know to answer questions, to solve problems, or to do things. Now, the secure knowledge part, a lot of that comes down to learning what is taught in lessons and making sure you have a good strategy for revision. There'll be numerous chances to test the pupils' exam skills, such as there's going to be the Year 10 exams will be in May this year. And then in Year 11, we have a Parents' Evening, by the way, quite early in Year 11 in October, and then we have mock exams in November. So when they're in Year 11 in November 2023, they'll sit a round of mock exams, and then we'll then have academic reviews in January 2024 after those to talk about what happens. So there's the Year 10 exams and the Year 11 mocks are both really good opportunities to test how secure candidates are in their knowledge. Context plays a huge part as well. It's not enough to know things. The important thing is to understand why things are being learnt and what bits of information mean. This is very subject specific, so I shan't go into loads and loads of examples. But for example, if you're studying geography and you learn about a country has had changes in its population, that's interesting, and it's good that you know that a country has had a downturn in its population or a huge surge in its population, but you'd have to understand why. You actually need to understand why we're interested in it. Why would we study that? From a human geography point of view, or from an economic point of view, what's the significance of it? And the same is true for other subjects. And then finally, applying skills and solving problems. So I'm a maths teacher, and we teach a lot of maths. And then the really hard questions, the grade 8, grade 9 questions on a GCSE paper are always about solving a problem. And so it's testing students' perseverance and their creativity, and whether they can put some of the maths that they've learned to use in an unusual setting. And in other subjects, it might be more explicit. You might learn a skill and then use a skill. In a more practical subject, certainly, you learn a skill, you use a skill, and then if you're good at that skill, you turn out an excellent product. But these three principles, I think, are sound: a secure knowledge, an understanding of context, and an ability to apply skills and solve problems. I think that sums up a lot of what would constitute GCSE success. Now, in Year 11, one of the questions that we quite often get after the mock exams is how can he improve? How can he go up a grade? How can he do better in his GCSE exams? And a lot of it comes down to those three things that I have mentioned. And when you think about how much material is in a GCSE course and how demanding the qualification is, you become aware of how important it is to spend time wisely and using the time that people have in Year 10 to make good progress through the course is very, very important. It's not enough to frantically try and relearn everything in year 11. You're going to be at a huge disadvantage if that's the way that you try to pass the exam. So year 10 is critical, and it's difficult to balance the various demands that pupils have on their time, especially with extracurricular activities, activities outside school, family commitments, community commitments. People have busy lives, and we as a school understand that. But I'd have to make you aware of the importance of their study time as well. And finally, pupils need support. We will support them in school, and we hope that you will support them outside of school, because what they're doing is difficult and it's going to test them. And obviously, a lot of them are aiming at quite competitive university courses. Even if they're not aiming at a university course, they want to do an apprenticeship, those are competitive too. The grades matter. It's hard to be the best, and that's why they have to work at it. And with your support, they will be successful. I am confident of that. So I do hope you have a good evening, a productive evening, an informative evening, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.